What are you wearing?
A Canadian tuxedo.
Canadian.
I'm a hockey player. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
To all you Blues fans, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
Presented by Scott Credit Union. Yours.
Blueote! Report. Oh my goodness. Justin, you have said stop playing at Sesame Seed Straight. Safe. You kept saying that. And I don't think they played at Sesame Seed Straight. This is a big deal. Jordan Kyrou traded to the Caps for basically 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. High second-round pick. I'm okay with this. I mean, I don't like Kyrou going, but I like the haul. I think we got a good haul. We got an NHL-ready player, 45 points, 50 points, could be better. We got a guy that's probably damn near NHL ready. Probably needs a year in the AHL of the second-round pick from last year, and now 4 first-round picks, and 3 of them in the top 16. That's huge.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little different. This is an okay trade. I want to preface this because again I have to shout this from the rooftops, and we talked about this on the show before numerous times. Kyrou's put up 70 points in his career, not once, not twice, 3 times. 3 times he's done that, and he's still in his prime. Obviously, the Blues have a direction here. They are going to do one of 2 things after this trade, and this has solidified it for me. Is they're going to do one of 2 things, and we'll get into that. Now, I look at the players you got. The players you got were a 4th line forward, and you got Connor McMichael, who, yes, may have some offensive upside. He's a center. He's not great defensively. So, you doing this makes you worse. Now, we'll get into the 2 reasons, or the 2 things that I think the Blues will do with this trade and the links to this trade. But you, as of right now, the St. Louis Blues are a worse team. And I will stand by that.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I understand what you're saying.
Shocking.
I do. No. Don't sit there and be a jackass on me. Don't
Shocking. Guy disagrees.
I'm not ready for that. But what I'm saying is I understand your sentiment. I just don't agree with it. I think the one thing that, and look, and you know, I've been on Kyrou. I did not want Kyrou traded. And I actually wanted one more than what we got. I wanted 3. If you remember right, I said I wanted the equivalent of 3 first-round picks. I think we got very, very near that. But when you say we're worse off, I think I really do think that this number 16th pick gets you number 2. And Chris Jockey had put in the group that with San Jose trading and getting number 9, that maybe now they don't want to get rid of number 2. No, I think they were if you're going like that, you're targeting somebody. I think they're targeting someone that would have been a reach at 2. Now they got 9. They can deal that number 2 pick away and really get something good for it. I think that they're going to deal number 2. I really do. I think they will deal 2 probably before Friday. I think guys are on the phone now, and I think that's what this Kyrou trade does. And again, okay, if you want to say at this very moment we might be worse off, I get it. But you said we needed a 2C. Now we got a 2C. Maybe he's not the best. Hold on. He's not the best 2C, but he's a 2C. Right? He could be a 2C. 25 years old, right in the where you wanted to be age-wise. And you've got another forward that's been playing in Europe that's probably ready to come over. Right? This Milton Gastrin, right? He spent a couple of years. They got him in 25. He's not a UFA till 2034, right? You've got him till 29 as an RFA. He's a young kid. There's a lot of value in that, and you can bring him over right now in the minors, and he could be up this year or next year, depending on where he's at. But he's 19 years old. He strengthens your future, right? Chris Thompson, my buddy from my brother from another mother here in Hawaii. McMichael alone isn't Kyrou, but he's a very good young NHL player. At a recent first-round prospect and another first-round pick, and the Blues are getting 3 significant assets for 1 player. That's kind of like where I'm at. Do you think that this was a safe play? I mean, because it's not. In my eyes, it's not. The safe play is keeping Kyrou. The not being safe is trading him away, trading those points away, and saying everybody else step up. But in the long run, I actually think this is a trade that is better for the player than it is, that it could be better for the player than it is the team. And I will admit that.
No one talked about the future being bad. The future's fine. We're not talking about the future. We're talking about right now, in this moment, what you got for him was worse than what Kyrou is worth. What you got for him right now, the first-round picks, what you did, the Blues are going to do one of 2 things, and that is either they're going to take those picks, stack them, and get to the 2nd overall pick, which every fucking Blues fan wants to do, because you guys are so goddamn desperate for a guy who I want as well, but you guys want to prey on hope and not logic, and you want to pray for hope. You guys want to stack those picks. You guys want to go to the 2nd overall. Okay, great. Get Stenberg. Fantastic. I love it. You get the Stenberg brothers here. Fantastic. Will they deliver? Will they become the St. Louis Sedin twins in St. Louis? If they do that, fine. You don't know that's going to happen. You don't know that. So what you did was the main piece here actually isn't a Connor McMichael here. You talk about a 2C. You don't watch Capitals games. I don't even watch Capitals games all that much. But from Capitals fans, they're ecstatic about this deal because Connor McMichael is not a consecutive second-line center. You got this is an okay trade. For what the Blues are building up to, it's a fine trade. I'm okay with it. It's not the I'm not okay with it thing for the future. That's fine. They're young guys. They could possibly work into their role. But again, I'm going to take it from Cats fans who's watched this guy, Connor McMichael, for years and said that he's not a great center. I'm sorry. I'm going to look at that and I'm going to say, okay, he's probably not a spectacular center. Why go out there? When I say Sesame Street safe, yes, trading Jordan Kyrou is a risky move. You got what you needed. But when I mean not play at Sesame Street safe, I don't mean lower the value of the guy that you're trading away to bring in value that isn't the same value and preying on a hope and pray. Not playing at Sesame Street safe is going after a guy like Elias Pettersson, who's had a career decline in Vancouver because Vancouver's such a shithole.
They can still do that.
Hold on. That's why I'm bringing it to my second point. The Blues are either going to trade to get up to the second overall pick, or they're going to package at least two of these first-round picks, and they're going to go after a big fish in the market. That's exactly what they're doing. Either they're going after a big fish, or they're going to the second overall pick. And I'm telling you right now, Blues fans, if the St. Louis Blues go to the second overall pick and you get Stenberg, yes, everybody's elated. Yes, he's going to probably play for the St. Louis Blues because the Blues have the spot for it. Yes, but I'm telling you right now, the St. Louis Blues, I was confident that this team was not far off. We needed to add a center, a decent center, or a decent left wing, and this team would have been in the playoffs. This team is not making the playoffs. If that happens, if the Blues get Ivar Stenberg and they get up to the second overall pick, the Blues are not making the playoffs because he's gonna have to learn the NHL level. You can talk about, he's played with men, he's played with all these great players. He still has to adapt to the NHL level. Doesn't mean that he's going to be exquisite right away. Justin Carbonneau, he can have a spot on this team now. Doesn't mean he's going to be NHL ready. He's going to be a great player. Doesn't mean he's going to put up 70 points like Jordan Kyrou can. Doesn't mean that. So, yeah, if you're looking for long-term, sure, the Blues are going to be probably great in 2 to 3 years. But you talked about the St. Louis Blues probably making the playoffs next year too. That's not happening now. That's not happening.
I still think they do. Look, it's not that, and I'm not backing off of what I said about Kyrou. I still think Kyrou is, that you're losing that guy. I wanted him to still have that chance, but and you've said this, the media is not going to change. The fans aren't going to change. Well, if it weighed on him this year, plus the injury, it's going to weigh on him next year, right?
And you know what?
Hold on. I wanted to make sure that if we did trade Kyrou, and I kept saying this, that we got at least a substantial or a good haul for him. I know you may not like the haul, but I do. I think this is a good haul. You've got a player. You basically got 3 younger players, one NHL ready now, one possibly NHL ready within a year, and another one possibly NHL ready in a maximum of 2 years. Right? And that's if you move up to 2. If you move to 16, okay, 3 years.
I will say this. I'm seeing talking to chat. I'm telling you right now, this absolutely should be the case. If you're the St. Louis Blues, you should be going after a guy like Jason Robinson. You want that right there is not playing at Sesame Street safe. Go after a guy like Jason. I don't care what you're doing now. You need a piece to fill in for Jordan Kyrou. Ivar Stenberg is going to be great, but he is not going to be Jordan Kyrou right away. He's not going to put up 70 points. I'm sorry. It very rarely doesn't happen like that. I'm sorry. I want the kid too, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be the case. And I don't even know if the Blues trade up to the second overall pick. Maybe they just trade down. Maybe they take
Here's my thing with Robinson. I don't have a problem with Robinson, but I don't want to offer sheet him. I think offer sheet.
Well, you don't have to.
You got to make a sign. You got to do a trade. You got to trade for him and then sign him. If you offer,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Offer sheet him, you're hurting yourself. And that's what this post from Kyle says is also now you have the room to try and offer sheet Jason Robinson. Jason Robinson is going to cost you 3 to 5 first-round picks if you offer for the next 3 to 5 years, your first-round pick. I'm not willing to give that up.
You trade. What you do is you take these picks. You take 2 of these first-round picks, and you talk to Dallas, and you make a trade with Dallas to get Jason Robertson. I don't care. I've seen so many reports. I don't care what anyone says. I will not. This is what I want. I want the St. Louis Blues to go after. I've heard recent reports that Kirill Marchenko is available. I want them to target Kirill Marchenko. I want them to target Jason Robertson. I want them to target Zach Werenski if it's possible. Probably not likely. I want them to target Bo Byram. I don't care.
More likelihood than Werenski out of Columbus.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said Marchenko first. You need to target Marchenko is incredible. That guy is 25 years old, and he's growing and growing and growing, and he is a beast in this league. Yeah. So he is someone.
Light, sound, and geometry. Sorry, I'm getting to this comment, Justin. Light, sound, and geometry says Blues won't get a top 5. You got March wins, which I don't know what that means. The other teams are not trading you a top 5 pick. Blues don't have the pieces to do that. Maybe Tom. Sorry, man. First of all, Thomas isn't going anywhere. And you have pick 11, 15, and 16. I'm telling you, picks 11, 15, and 16 are worth of top 5 pick. 3 first-round picks for a top 5 pick? Absolutely. Another team, if they're targeting somebody lower, they're doing that. I disagree with you on that there.
And you look at this, though. The guy brought up a good point. The San Jose Sharks have the 9th overall pick as well. So they already have a pick in the top 10. If they move that second, put it this way. Say the Blues have to package the 11th and the 15th to San Jose. The San Jose Sharks, they wouldn't turn their nose up at that because guess what? They would have the 9th, the 11th, and the 15th pick. That's value. Now, that's speaking to that logic. But again, I'm sorry. I think what the Blues need to do is, yes, they can call the phone to San Jose to try to get that 2nd overall pick if they want. But again, I think the smarter move is you can keep maybe that 11th pick or something, maybe package the 15th and 16th pick and get a good forward, a forward that we just talked about, Marchenko, Jason Robertson. Go out there and be ballsy. Get a big fish in the market. See what you can do. Doesn't mean that they're going to come here, but you can at least try. That doesn't mean you can't try.
Chris Thompson agrees with you. He says, I think it's a good deal long term, but smart's in the short term. I think it's worth the risk, worth the risky trade. Kyrou, you know what you got. The thing is, Kyrou and Richard, I sent you a link, buddy. Kyrou, I'm telling you, I don't want to lose Kyrou. But if you didn't lose the farm to trade him and you got something like a lot of these trades for him, what we were getting, what people wanted to get in return was nothing. And I said, how many times, Justin, did I say he was worth 3 first-round picks? How many times did I say that?
Again, first of all, the other guy, the 19-year-old, he's not a first-round pick. He's a second-round pick.
He's a high second. He's the 37th overall. So he's the seventh pick, or the
but still, it doesn't matter. He's still a second-round pick. It's not a first-round pick.
But he's really close. He's close.
Yeah, but again, almost only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. So almost is almost. That's fine that he's a high second-round pick, and he's still young, so he could develop. Yeah. But from what I've heard, I don't know. I mean, he could still come in and, maybe find a spot. Maybe he's that type of guy that can take a spot away from a Nathan Walker or Torchenko eventually, a Finley. Maybe he is that guy that is that fourth-line guy that we needed. Who knows? But is he going to be some top 6 guy? Probably not.
Well, he's got – I don't think – well, I don't know. If you're picking a guy – if you're taking a forward, in the second round, you're looking at a middle 6 guy at the bare minimum. right? You
Well,
got to
we'll
be
see.
looking at
Like I said, you never know how somebody develops. You never know. He could come in and be fantastic. I mean, look at Robert Thomas. He's a 20th.
Yeah.
He's a 20 overall pick in the first round, and he's become one of the most underrated centers in the league. So,
Yeah, no,
it happens. I understand what you're saying. I get it, and I don't hate it. Again, you're putting words in my mouth and saying that I'm hating it for the future. For the future, it's great. For the future, it's 100% fine. But I'm talking about, we talked about on this show how the Blues are not far off. They needed to add a piece or two without giving up a piece like Kyrou. Now you gave up a piece like Kyrou, and you're replacing him with a guy who has not come anywhere close to that production that Kyrou has.
True, and I get that. But again, it's I kind of look at it this way. I don't know the guy. I don't know. I haven't looked at it well enough to sit there and know, but I look at the Caps, and it's hard to look at the Caps players and look at their points and go, is there an equivalent somewhere else? Because a lot of the Caps points go through Ovechkin, right? I mean, they lean on Ovechkin. Everything goes through Ovechkin. So lower players might be better than what their numbers are, because they're not getting the chances. Just like Tage Thompson here in St. Louis. Everyone says that Tage Thompson was never going to put up those numbers in St. Louis because he wasn't going to get a chance. This guy could be the same thing. Here's a guy that just hasn't gotten a chance because of the way Washington's set up. And again, I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating a little bit.
Well, and you see, and I want to play a devil's advocate because I want to go to the other side too. The reason that I seem animated right now, but I'm not extremely angry, because I look at the Capitals, like I said, I don't think the Capitals are going anywhere crazy. I know that may sound crazy to people. They just got Jordan Kyrou. I think he's a great player, but honestly, they got a lot of old pieces. I think they're in Washington. Washington's going to be losing Ovechkin here probably after next year or whenever he wants to call it quits, but he's getting older. They got some good young talent over there, but I'm not a Washington believer. So on that side of things, I don't know if I think Kyrou individually as a player will bounce back and be great for them, but I don't know in the long term if he'll actually go anywhere with the Washington Capitals, if that makes sense.
Well, so Michael, right, last year, 78 games played, 14 goals, 32 assists, 46 points, basically 0.6 point per game, 30 penalty minutes, 5-on-5 time on ice, 12:44. He did a minute 32 of power play time. He was a full penalty killer, 2 minutes of penalty kill time. His numbers are, believe it or not, if I pulled up Kyrou's numbers, the goals for percentage, they would be very close, right? They would be very, very close.
Well, and I think that, like I said, I think that's fine. Like I said, Connor McMichael, fine. You can take him here, and that's fine. You can see if he can develop anything great. He's still 25. He's younger than Kyrou, of course. Again, though, this is where I'm going to say this. The Blues need to go after a big fish. They need somebody to play, because now what you did, again, this was my whole point about this, is you could have had Jordan Kyrou, and you could have played him with a great center in the middle of him. Now you got a lesser than center, or a lesser than player than Kyrou. I know you said the stats are similar, but Jordan Kyrou has put 70 points up in his career 3 times. Connor McMichael has not come close to that.
Yeah.
You look at the player that you're getting. You're getting McMichael. You're going to play what? Probably Bush there. Right now you have Suter there. That's not a second line. You need to go out and get a big fish. Marchenko, Robertson. Like I said, doesn't mean they're going to come here. But those first round picks are enticing the teams now. So if I'm the Blues, I'm going out and getting a big fish. I don't care what it is, whether that be a defenseman. I know the Blues have been heavily talked about with Bo Byram a lot. That's been a thing for years now. Again, you need something. A defenseman would be great, but again, I think you have a defenseman, Yurchek, who's almost going to be ready, but I don't know if he's going to play his rookie year this year. But you need a guy that fills that production. And right now with what you have, I love Suter, I love Neighbors, I love Bush. Those guys are not filling 70 points. I'm sorry to break it to you, man. Sorry.
This is the one where I'm going to we'll have Richard here in a second. Stand by, Richard. This is the one where I'm going to go. I understand everything you said. However, I gotta ask a question, and you kind of answered it, but it's still got to be asked. Could Bush be that guy? Could Bush be able to have that turnaround year that makes him the guy that picks up that production? Could Bush have a 70-point year? He's not going to get the goals, but could he be the playmaker? And that's the question. Let me bring in my buddy, Richard Campbell, here. I want to hear what he's got to say. Hey, Richard, how you doing, bud?
Stressful day today, but hopefully it gets better. How about you?
Well, I wasn't planning on a show today, but we got shocked. And what are your thoughts on this Kyrou trade? I'd love to hear it.
I actually love it for both teams. I'm a big fan of the fit Kyrou will win in Washington. I think he'll be back to point games, 35 goals. I also like the it gives them even more draft capital. But Michael's gonna be a 60-point guy in my opinion. I don't know anything about the cross, but I like the move.
Yeah. I don't think that we hate this trade. Well, first of all, I don't think Justin hates the trade. I just think we both did not want to trade Kyrou. I'll say that straight up. I was not a fan. I'm not a fan of trading Kyrou. However, if you're going to trade him, I wanted to make sure that we got a decent haul back. And I think that we got something that we can work with. And for me to sit there and say that we've got a chance of now having 3 first-round picks in the top 16, I mean, you have 3 of the top of the top 15, 10 through 16. You have 3 of those picks. And you have 15 and 16 back to back. There's those 2 brothers that everybody was talking about where one might go high and the other one go low. You might be looking at them at 15 and 16.
I personally don't think the Blues are done dealing. I think Bennington will be gone as well, and I think the guys could up in the draft, potentially get Stenberg, maybe.
Yeah, that's that's the other thing we were talking about with San Jose. So Chris Shockey, my buddy here, had put in, well, San Jose just got 9. Maybe that means they're not trading 2. No, I think them getting 9 puts 2 on the trading block, because you don't go and get, when you have number 2, you don't go and get 9 unless you're looking at somebody in that spot that you think is a reach at 2. So you're going to solidify your spot first, and then you're going to worry about trading down. I think that's what San Jose did. I think they're going to come out of 2.
So again, I like I said, there's what's up?
Go ahead.
Oh, there's many things that I think you also have to look at too. The obvious thing is Jordan Kyrou had a no movement clause. He had the ability to veto any trade. So again, with that, I want to say that who knows? We don't know. We're not in that locker room. We're not on the phone. We're not talking to Jordan Kyrou. So maybe this was the best deal that they could come up with for Jordan Kyrou to go. Yeah. I think that's an element that we're missing as well. Jordan Kyrou could axe any trade that he wanted. So. Yeah. Maybe Washington was enticing him. I'm surprised Washington was the fit. I thought he would have. The most recent report was he was okay with possibly going to the Islanders. I don't know what the Islanders would have given you. I don't even know if they would have offered you anything for him. But I think that that's a factor. I think that I definitely don't think the Blues are taking. I don't think they're making all the picks. I like I said, they're either packaging these picks up and they're trying to move the second overall, or they're taking these picks and they're trying to get a big fish in the market. A Robertson, like we talked about, a Robertson, Marchenko. I don't see Larkin coming here, but if Larkin's gonna, like I said, you talked about not wanting Larkin, but Larkin is a hot commodity, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And with the emergence of Kyrou gone, that frees up a spot for a guy like that. He has the production, but the Blues need to get. The Blues need to get a big fish. Like I said, that's just my thoughts. They can try to move up, but I think that benefits the future, not right now.
Well, here's the other thing that needs to be considered with this. The pick and the two guys we got, no salary got transferred. Mm-hmm. Michael is actually just on it coming up. He's an RFA, and his qualifying offer is only 2.1 mil. Right? That's all you got to do. That's all you got to qualify him with is 2.1 mil. He's not a UFA until like 2000. He's still got a couple more years before he hits that UFA. So he's got 2 more years. I think next year. Next year he's got. So he's at that bridge point. Mm-hmm. You can probably lock him up for about $3 million, maybe 4.
And that's a great deal. I mean, I'm with you.
Say again.
I said I'm with you. It's a great deal if that's the case, because first of all, if you do that, that leaves cap space and that leaves the ability for the Blues to go out and get a bigger fish, like I talked about, because you'll have the salary cap for it.
The Blues got about 20 mil in cap space right now.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, guy. What's up?
Go ahead. No.
I said that's what I'm saying though. You have all this cap space to play around with. A not playing at Sesame Street safe move would be to go out and try to get a big fish. Not that you're going to get one, not that it's confirmed, but if you have all that cap space, you're able to throw this. Don't throw the money around willy-nilly. Like, don't give someone a freaking Kaprizov contract, of course. No. But like you can go out there and throw money, because the way I view it, guy,
$10 million, you have the cap space now. Even with a couple of guys that you got to sign, McMichael one and a few others in there. But you're still going to have, let's say, realistically, $16 million of cap space. You can throw a $10 million offer out to somebody. That's more than enough to say that this is a guy. Now, I'm not all for it. Robinson's a great player, but I'm not paying him more than $10 million. I really not. I'm not dumping 14, 15 million in this guy.
Well, again, let me point out like this too. There could be a grand scheme to this, and you could see a big turnover. I didn't think we would see a big turnover, and this is just a beginning portions of it. But maybe with this cap space that you're talking about, maybe the Blues really get aggressive. Maybe Steen really gets aggressive. Armstrong and Steen really get aggressive, and they have a massive turnover. And say with this money, instead of signing a guy like Jason Robertson for $12 million, they go out and sign they get Marchenko in a trade. That's a little bit of cap space. And then they go out there and get Pettersson maybe on a retention. So then you're looking at, a Pettersson. You're looking at 2 pieces possibly on this team, or a defenseman, or you could talk about Bo Byram and then maybe Marchenko. So something. Maybe you have the cap flexibility to get 2 more pieces on this team. Maybe the Blues do that.
I don't disagree with that. I want to look at this. Are you still with me here, Richard? You still good? You still good, bud?
Yeah.
The way I want to look at
I'm
this
actually a big fan of the idea of.
Go ahead, man.
You're a big fan of what? Sorry, Richard.
Go ahead. I was.
No, you're good.
I'm a big fan of the idea of St. Louis retooling, actually.
Right. Of doing the getting two guys with that money.
Yeah, so, getting two guys. Is that what you mean?
A little bit.
What this trade did.
Well,
What I think this trade did more than anything else. Are you still with me, Richard? I'm sorry, bud.
I think he's lagging.
Yeah, he's lagging a little bit.
I'm with you. I think with what you said.
Yeah, you might need to go out and come back in, buddy.
I think with what you said, Guy, I think this move frees up that cap space that it will give the Blues some flexibility. And like I said, I'll be honest, we're talking about this now, and I'm really getting behind the idea of the Blues possibly doing a turnover like that, going out there and trying to get a defenseman like a Bo Byram, and then maybe getting another piece in a Pettersson or a Marchenko if he's actually available. I think that's a solid plan, because if you can do that, and you could possibly do that and maybe not move up to the second overall pick, but maybe move up even more in the draft somehow. I mean, you're talking about a great thing for the now and the future. Because I like to say, everybody thinks that Justin Carbonneau is going to be great for this team, but everybody thinks Justin Carbonneau is going to come in and put 90 points for the St. Louis Blues. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
I think he can put up 40 to what they may be looking at. Did I jump on you, buddy? Did I jump on you?
No, you're good. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I think he could put 40 or 50 points on the board, and I would be A-okay with that. But these people are so dead set that Justin Carbonneau is going to be – that he's going to be on this team. First of all, he's going to be on this team now because Kyrou's moved. I don't see that there's a possibility where Carbonneau doesn't make this team now unless they go out and actually get a big fish, and he just plays his 9 games and he's not a rookie. I was under the impression if we kept Kyrou, Carbonneau was not going to play his rookie year this year. He would have played a little bit of games, and then he would have probably played most of his time down in Springfield.
Yeah. Bo Byron might take a first, Dubrovnik and another Devo and another Doric and another asset to get. I'll tell you what, with all the first round picks we've got, you don't give up any asset. You don't give up any first round quality assets, right? You don't give up. You don't give up Devo. You don't give up Yarek. You don't give up a guy that is a first round asset when you have all those first round picks. Makes no sense.
Well, and Guy, and this is a good point because Guy is absolutely right. If you look at what the market is giving you, and first of all, I want to point this out because the market, if you've looked at these trades, most of these trades have not really. Some of them have had 2026 first round picks in them, but a lot of them have been first round picks for years in advance.
Yeah.
So if you're the Blues,
here's something. Go ahead. I want to bring this up. I'm sorry I'm jumping on you. Shockey says the thing about getting number 2 is you have to make sure McKenna goes first. I disagree with that. I think the golden situation would be you get number 2 and Toronto takes Stenberg. You take McKenna, whether you want him or not. You take McKenna, and then you trade McKenna for a shit ton. Because everybody thought McKenna was going to be the guy. You trade McKenna. Now, I'm saying this is the reaching for the pot of gold scenario. By the way, Marianne, what did you miss? Jordan Kyrou was traded to the Washington Capitals for McMichael. I forget the other guy's name, and the number 16 overall pick this season. I will tell you what that is here in a second. Let me try and pull this trade up.
I will say what Guy was saying. I can tell you with certainty. Shockman, I love you, bud. I'm telling you right now, McKenna is that is the one thing I'm absolutely positive of. McKenna's going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto is not passing on McKenna. I'm telling you that with 120% certainty, and I have no allegiance to the Toronto Maple Leafs at all, but McKenna's going to Toronto. That's 100% in my mind. Everything after that is hearsay.
Yeah.
But
Sorry we lost
he's going
you
to
there,
Toronto.
Are you back,
Yeah,
bud?
yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't
No,
have
no.
great internet connection.
No, Richard, you're fine, buddy. You know that. You and me, you're my brother from another mother, and you know that, bud. So you're good. You're one of them guys that good. So greatly appreciate you. And like I said, almost every time you ask to come on, I'm gonna let you, unless it's something like particular, right? Like
Sounds
where it needs to be just me and Justin, I'm gonna let you on. I know it. So did you hear what I said about someone had brought up the thing about getting number 2 is you have to make sure that McKenna goes first. And I'm going, well, wait a minute. I think if I'm looking at this, I'm going, if I got 2 wanting Stenberg and Toronto decides to fuck me, pardon the language, and take Stenberg, I'm going, yeah, buddy. I'm taking McKenna, and then I'm putting him out there, and I'm trading him for as much as I can get. Because I know that there's a shit ton of teams that would give their right nut, their left nut, and their right leg to get McKenna. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think in a dream scenario, I think you're absolutely right. But again, like I said, I'm not Toronto media or anything like that. With the buzz around McKenna for Toronto's not passing on McKenna. So this is all hearsay, hypothetical, because that's not happening. Toronto is 100% taking McKenna.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, you know what Chris is missing. Chris is saying, "Oh my goodness, you got to make sure that they don't take Stenberg on you." I'd be absolutely ecstatic if they did. I don't think we need McKenna. I don't think we need that in that locker room. I don't think we need that young presence of, oh my God, I'm the number 1 overall, the number 2 overall pick, and because he's got that air of superiority about him, and our locker room doesn't need that. But what we could get in return for him, fuck yeah. And you don't hear me curse a lot on the show. You don't. But,
Yeah.
but this is me saying what this trade does, and I'll let both you guys speak in a second because I'm getting excited because it's hitting me at what this trade does is the Blues have something they have not had in probably 10 years. Oh, and I just lost him. Hopefully he comes back. We have options. We have opportunity, and we have what was the word you used?
I think flexibility is the perfect word.
We have more options, more flexibility, and more gumption to do something than we've ever had before.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, when you think about it like this, the Blues can do many things here. Like we talked about, you could go to the 2nd overall pick. That's fine. But again, even if you do something like that, the Blues have a shit ton of cap. So you can still go out there and sign some guys. Again, I'm still in the market of, I think the Blues should go out there and try to get a big fish. Even if they're going to try to get to the 2nd overall pick, I think that with what you've seen for the market, the fact that teams are trading picks like years in advance, if the Blues could take 1st-round picks for like 2028, 2029, the Blues aren't going to need those picks because the Blues are going to be good by that point.
Yeah, possible.
So
if you give up, if you signed an offer sheet that was 2 first-round picks, meaning next year and the year after, I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't love it, but I'd be okay with it. But if you start getting into that 3, 4, and 5, now you're really, really, really hurting yourself. Especially as good as the Blues are in the zone of where they pick at.
Well, I want to preface this, guy, because I don't even mean just offer sheets. I don't even think the Blues have to offer sheet. I think what your first course of action should be a trade, and
I agree.
that would be so. The reason I talk about Robertson, I know a lot of people don't want to pay Robertson that type of money. Robertson can produce, but the way I view it is first of all, I do Dallas because Dallas has ties with Montgomery.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And Armstrong has the some history there as well. So that's an option. I think Elias Pettersson's out there, obviously, Kirill Marchenko, or the Blues could pivot and get a defenseman that everybody's been wanting and clamoring for, because I think the Blues are going in the right way on the defensive side of things, despite what people are saying. I think Logan Mayhew's going to develop. I don't know if he's going to be a top pair guy, but he played great with Philip Broberg. But Broberg, imagine if you can get a guy like Bo Byram and you can play Bo Byram with Philip Broberg. I mean, you're talking about something spectacular. And you still have a Parayko who's playing on the second pair defense. And Lindstein and Adam Yurchak. I mean, dude, you are setting yourself up for success on the back end if you're the St. Louis Blues, if that's the case.
I agree. And the more that I think about this trade now, I think that they've allowed themselves opportunity that wasn't there before. Richard, what do you think? And while Richard's talking, I'm sorry, but I got to go take a piss. I will be right back.
What you think, Richard?
I personally think that Stenberg is don't be the best player in this draft. Personally, I think Stenberg will be better than McKenna, but I do believe McKenna will go number one because his beliefs will not only screw up the pick. But if I'm St. Louis, I'm looking to retool, and for me personally, I love the idea of flipping Bennington, Parayko for players in the future, along with the draft picks to get Stenberg, as I believe San Jose is shopping that second round pick. And I think St. Louis has the draft capital and the players to get it done.
I do think that. I think the fact Parayko was talked about that he would be okay with possibly waiving a no movement clause to, or his movement clause to, a West Coast team. So that would be possible for San Jose if they wanted a guy like Parayko. This is the way I kind of view it, because you bring up a good point, Richard, because say the Blues package something like a Parayko. If you package a Parayko, that lessens what you'd have to give up to San Jose to go to that second overall pick. So say you wouldn't have to package 2 first-round picks. Maybe you would, but maybe you would only have to give up 1 crucial first-round pick, in the top 16, or you and the 29th overall pick that the Blues have, and a Parayko or something like that if they were interested in that. Now, is that something I would want to do? Not really. But the thing is okay. Guy, look, I want to point this out, because I said that I like where the Blues defense is going, but Parayko said that he would possibly waive his no movement clause to a West Coast team. San Jose is a West Coast team. They're on the up and up.
I don't think that San Jose is a West Coast team. I think Parayko is, if he's going somewhere, he doesn't want to go into the same situation. And if he goes to San Jose, he's actually going into a worse situation.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt here for a minute.
But
I'm having trouble.
Say again, Richard?
I'm having trouble connecting, so thanks for letting me on the show.
You're welcome, buddy. Anytime, man. All you got to do is ask, and if we can, we will let you, Richard. You've been a supporter of me for about 5 years now, and you have not wavered with all the crap, and I appreciate you, my friend. I really do.
Again, let me finish my point here, guy, because we kind of lost focus. But look, do I want to give up Parayko? Not particularly, because I think he wants to be here. You don't really give up players that want to play for your organization. But the way I view it is people have always been on this trade Parayko kick. And the way I view it is instead of having it, so in a hypothetical situation, say you had to take, say the San Jose Sharks were interested in Colton Parayko. Say that they wanted Colton Parayko, and say they wanted a first-round pick, maybe a future first-round pick, like in a different year, or you have other picks to deal. You have second-round picks later. Yeah. You have later picks. Say they want to do that. I would be okay with something like that to move up to the second overall pick. You get Stenberg, and then it frees up more opportunity because you have other first-round picks that you package in other deals to get NHL-ready guys right now. Pedersen, Marchenko, Bo Byram, Jason Robertson. So although you're losing a great defenseman in Parayko, you have Adam Jurček. If you bring in a guy like Bo Byram, there you go. Obviously, I would hate to lose Parayko, but if you would if I would have to only give up Parayko and a first round pick and maybe a later first round pick or second round picks to get to that second overall spot, I'm sorry. You guys want Stenberg so bad? I would be okay with that.
Yeah. Well, Matt Lowe says the Sharks just traded Euclid for the 9th overall. They're keeping that second forever. Actually, I don't think they are. I think that what they did is they gave themselves, they had somebody in mind that they wanted, and they weren't going to trade to until they knew that they could get that person in that area that they thought that he's going to go in. And that's what I think they did. I do think now that this opens up for them to trade too. I really do. And, the biggest thing is, I don't care whether or not we get Stenberg. I just don't want Stenberg to go to Chicago. When Wendy was here and started talking about Stenberg going to Chicago, oh my God, I do not want him to go to Chicago. Marianne, with your question anytime.
So I want to say this. Again, this is why I posed two options for the St. Louis Blues, because you have flexibility now. Now, the first move I think the Blues will try to attempt will be to try to move up to the second overall pick. That's what I think that they'll do first. Now, if they don't, if San Jose does not play ball and they do not give us that second overall pick, I think you see the St. Louis Blues package 2 of these picks and get a big fish. Those are my 2 things that I see happening. Either San Jose is going to give you that second overall pick in a package deal, or you're getting a big fish. Or you're attempting to get one, I should say.
And I disagree with that. And so I want to get to Matt Lowe before we go to Marianne. Only way I see it is that Ivar said he wanted to play with Otto in St. Louis, and still think the Sharks draft him and then a D-man at 9. That's possible. I don't. Mary says, and I already know my answer, but I'm going to let you answer this first. Do you think Kyrou was the toxic in the locker room? I already know the answer to this.
I don't think there's any conflict going on in the locker room. Everybody's been talking about it. I just don't think that there's any hate for the locker room. I think it's a young team that's trying to find their way, but I don't think Kyrou was the toxic. Everybody said the same shit with Braden Shin when the Blues started playing well. And Justin Falk. Oh, well, they were the toxic ones. And I'm sorry to put it in Guy's mouth. Guy was the first one who ever mentioned it. Oh, yeah, the Blues are playing well. Maybe they were the toxic ones. I don't think that was the case. I just think they needed to go. And you did say that, so don't say you didn't say that.
Justin said he didn't hear your explanation after I last spoke. Can you repeat it for me? I think we're a little. I don't remember what it was either. To be honest.
What was? Who was it?
What we were talking about? I think I was talking about the Parayko stuff.
All I was saying was I won't go too deep into it, but I'm saying, say the San Jose Sharks are willing to move the second overall pick, but they say, hey Doug, hey Steen, I want Parayko in this deal. So first of all, what this does though is, the reason I say that I would play hardball with this is because everybody wants Stenberg. I want Stenberg too. If they say, okay, I want Parayko, then that lessens the amount of picks, the amount of first-round picks I have to give them. So if you want Parayko, fine. You're only getting the 15th overall pick and a later pick or something like that. So you're getting what you want, but you get to lessen the value of the first-round picks that you have to give them. if you do that. If that's a hypothetical, if that's what San Jose wants, that's all I'm saying.
Matt Lowe says Kyrou never said anything. Don't see him being a cancer. Jason Nichols says I'm pissed. I'm not, Jason. The more I think about this, this might be the right move. Chris says not toxic himself, but the guys who stuck up for him and those who don't. It could have created a toxic situation. He wasn't toxic, but the situation got created was toxic. I said that. And Mary brought this up earlier, and I didn't get to it, but now is a great time to get to it. She basically says, what do you do with Benny? Do you keep Benny or do you go with another goalie? I know Justin disagrees with me with this. And I wanted to say, Justin, I was thinking about this earlier.
Hey, don't say I disagree with you, because I may agree with you, but you have to get into what you're talking about.
Okay. You and me we've had a dynamic that it's taken this year to figure out. I think in the last 2 weeks, we have finally learned how to disagree with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're disagreeing with each other, but we're not being adversarial. And we were being adversarial in the past. And I think that we've gotten over that. And we've understood how to listen to each other. And I think that's a great thing, and it's going to make the show better. Right? Mm-hmm. I really do. And I wanted to put that out. So what I would do with Bennington, right, is I'm keeping him at the beginning of the year. And I'm not making any decision on him until at least January. And at January, I'm looking at where we're at in the standings. Okay? If we are in a playoff spot, definitely in a playoff spot, and we're like almost locked in a playoff spot, he is going nowhere. If we are on the fringe of a playoff spot and our goaltending is solid, and I think that I can get another solid backup, a goalie for goalie exchange, then maybe I look at trading him. But I am willing, because of who Bennington is and what he has done, I am willing to walk him through the end of this contract. And at the end of it, if he decides not to sign a 1 or a 2 year deal with us and go elsewhere, I'm okay with that. I know everybody's like, but you can't just let him walk for nothing. You know what? The guy's earned it. I'm sorry. The guy's earned it. And especially if he puts you into a playoff spot with really solid, solid goaltender play. I'm not, because I don't think we have the backup. I don't think we have somebody to back up Hofer yet. And I think Hofer's a year away. The year after, the year that Bennington would be gone, is the year I think Hofer's going to be, I can take the lead now and and mentor a younger guy. I've been mentored enough that I can mentor somebody else. That's my view on it. And
so
I don't think Benner's going to be the backup. I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B. They're going to split the net. I don't think this is going to be a 2-1 deal. They're going to split the net. You're going to see that.
Okay, so getting into my thought, I don't disagree. So I when you said I disagree, I don't disagree here. This is not what I disagree with. Okay. So we talked about this before. We've had this dynamic on this show. You think Hofer's maybe not ready. I think that is definitely his net right now. It doesn't mean I devalue Jordan Bennington.
Okay.
Now, the way that I view this is I think Jordan Bennington's on this team. For me, I think most people view this Jordan Kyrou trade, and say, okay, well, Bennington's going to be gone next. I actually view it oppositely, because the only team that I've heard recently that are inquiring about Jordan Bennington is the Florida Panthers. And let me tell you why this makes zero sense for the Blues standards, because if you're going after, if they're going after Jordan Bennington, you get Jordan Bennington, say you're going to get a first in the deal. So the package was supposedly Luosterainen, a first, and maybe something else. Now, the reason I'm not doing this is because, first of all, the Blues don't have a goalie that's ready. You're not getting a goalie back in return. Then you would be looking at the St. Louis Blues using this cap that they have, this flexible cap that they have now, and going after probably the best goalie in the market right now is Bobrovsky. And for me, I don't want to pay 10 plus $million for Bobrovsky, because you're taking that cap and putting it into a goalie. I'm sorry, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I want the Blues to take that. Huh?
I'm with you on that. Bobrovsky's not worth $10 million. I'd take him for $6 million. I'd take him for the same money I was paying Bennington for 1 year.
And look, see, Bobrovsky would be great, but the thing is where I'm thinking about this is the Blues have the cap flexibility, like they talked about. I don't want them to take that flexibility and put it into Bobrovsky, put it into a goalie. I want them to put that cap flexibility into what I talked about, getting an asset that helps you now, 1 or 2 pieces that help you now that are going to move the needle and move this team forward. A Bo Byram, Marchenko, Robertson. I want them to bust their ass to put the money into somebody, to put it into a player, not a goalie. I'm not paying my backup goalie $10 plus $million. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Hofer's not going to be, like, Guy thinks he's not particularly ready right now. I think that he's the guy, and I think he's the future, and I think Guy agrees with me, but he just thinks that Binnington is the guy right now. But I think for me, the way that I'm viewing it, Binnington's going to be on this team to start the year, and I'm with Guy. You give it to a certain point, and then if the Blues are not in the playoff spot, then I think that you ship him. I think you ship him and you get what you can get for him.
Yeah, Richard asked a good question, and I'm not going to give a thought on this right now. It's something I'll think about. Maybe we'll do it at a later show. He said that seems to me the NHL is moving towards the NBA, with big players moving on, shorter contracts, and building super teams. I don't think we're there yet, but we could possibly be going there. It's all going to come down to the non-tax states, and that's what's going to affect. And the NHL is going to have to address that. Another question: do you guys think the new coaches are good, bad, and different? For me, I'm withholding judgment on that because I don't know yet.
It's hard to tell. So Greg Cronin is interesting because he was in Anaheim. I think it's going to be interesting, but I think the thing that I think, is it Craig or Greg? I think it's Craig, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Greg? It's a Cronin, okay?
Yeah.
I think what Cronin is going to do for this team that the Blues desperately needed is accountability. Cronin is a guy who holds guys to accountability. Now, is it going to work out in the long run? I hope so, because Montgomery had a hand in who he hired. So clearly he has a little bit of a respect, and he thinks that it's going to work out. Maybe Montgomery is going to be more of the player guy, the nice coach. Why Greg Cronin is the guy who is a little bit more aggressive and firm on these guys, to have accountability, to say, hey, I'm not doing enough, I need to step up, is where I view Cronin.
Cindy Lou says, love you guys. You're the best. Cindy, thank you so much. We're never seeing Walt in St. Louis again. He is a beach bum now. I doubt. Oh, maybe.
Like I said, I obviously I'm with Guy a little bit on this one, that you can't really talk about it too soon because we haven't seen it. But I like Montgomery. I think Montgomery's a fantastic coach, and if he has trust in these guys, I have trust in them. So I'm going to let it play out. I'm going to let them see what they can do, and I'm going to see what he can cook up. Because if you could trust anybody, it should be Jim Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think Montgomery. I'm telling you, his year-end press conference, when he stood there and admitted, I didn't understand what the Winnipeg series did to us, and it took me too long to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That said something to me. That's right there. That's a coach telling you he put that whole season on him and not really taking care of the locker room the way the locker room needed to be taken care of. And that, if I'm a player, I'm giving my all to this guy next season. I'm giving my all to him. Right? And I just think that I'm really impressed with. I've always wanted Montgomery. I was really impressed with them. I hate that Drew Bannister, the way that the Blues did Drew Bannister, but I understood it. Jason McMillan says Kyrou's going to be really good in the Eastern Conference. I wish Kyrou all the luck in the world. I want Kyrou to be a 70 or 80 point player in Washington. Problem with Washington, and this is the biggest problem, and this is why I'm not slamming down on Connor McMichael, because I look at it and I go, that offense runs through Ovechkin. Because it runs through Ovechkin, could that take away from other players? And it possibly could, right?
Like I said, the grand scheme of things for the future, it's great. I like it. Like I said, this is the way I view it. I think obviously the Blues are not done. They're not going to say, okay, we're just going to make all these picks. That's not going to happen.
They're not making 4 picks. I'm with you. Now, let me rephrase that. They may make 4 picks, but there will be trades of one or two. If they make all 4 picks, somebody will be getting traded soon.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think for me, I really think the Blues should go out there and like you said, they have the opportunity of a lifetime now. They have the bull by the horns, literally in every aspect here, to where they take these trades. They take these opportunities to go up and maybe move up in the draft, or they take these with the flexibility of the trade, the trading chips that you have, the trade capital that you have right now, the draft capital, and you take them and you get some big fish in the market. Obviously, you're not going to get a boatload of them, but 1 or 2, like I said, I think probably if you're the Blues, you probably are targeting a defenseman and you're targeting a forward, and. I'm sorry. Like I said, I think I'm kind of with my thought process, Guy. I know you said, oh, no to trading Parayko. But if that was the case, like I brought up earlier about if Parayko was asked in a trade for San Jose and he was willing to go there, that, like I said, we talked about it, it would lessen what you'd have to give up to San Jose to get the 2nd overall pick without packaging up multiple first-round picks. I would do it because then you could take the other first round picks. You can either make 1 or 2 of them, or you can, like I said, take it, go to another team, trade for an asset that is going to help you now, Marchenko, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. AC Generator says, so Justin, how many points does Kyrou need to score for that jersey again? I thought you said 75.
Well, it doesn't matter now because we didn't talk about it. I said what I said was, and you can go back and look at the show. I said if Kyrou's here and you put him with a center, I guarantee he has 65 points plus the next year. But it doesn't matter now because Kyrou's not a St. Louis Blue anymore. So that deal's not on the table anymore. So,
Jason McMillan said just a few more trades and we'll have all 32 first-round picks. No, I do not have Army's press conference. You can get it on YouTube on the St. Louis Blues channel. 2, Ali C. That is the first time I've seen that name. Kyle Hauser. I think that's Alaska, Kyle. Chris Shockey, Chris Thompson, Tracy Smith. First time I've seen that name. Teresa Singer, Mom, John Hefner, Sister JJ, and my brother from another mother down under, Nate Papon. What do I think about what? I'm not sure. I haven't seen his press conference. Believe it or not, I try not to watch all of that. And I try and gauge what you guys say and then pull things out of that. That way, when I come on the show, I don't have an opinion that's formed that might make it to where I can't be swayed, right? So I'm locked in a rock. So by listening to your opinions and the things that I see, then it allows me to be able to listen to other opinions and possibly sway one way or the other. I'll be honest. When I first got this trade, I was like, fuck me. But now the more I look at it, Shockey says he just watched the press conference. Obviously, I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
If I'd have played it, I got a strike and we got kicked off. So,
Yeah, like I said, I think for me, Guy, I'd be like I said, the Blues have so like I said, if you look at the market, if you look at the market of the trades that we've seen, like I said, you've seen a lot of picks, first round picks going in for the later years. I think the Blues could also do something like that in a deal, but also package the picks that they have for this year as well. I would be shocked. I think the Blues are going to try for the second overall pick, but I also think they're going to try to add. I really do. I think they're going to try to do both. I don't.
This is the Blues picks for the next 3 years, right? They have 4 first rounds this year, no seconds. 3 thirds, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, a 6th, and the 7th. In 27, they have a first, no second, a third, 2 fourths, a 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then in 28, they have a 1 pick in each round except the third, where they do not have any picks. They traded that pick away. Who did they trade that pick away? That was part of the deal that got the Broberg and Holloway here. Right?
I think so. But I think like I said, I think like we talked about, I think we discussed this perfectly to a T. You listened to me, I listened to you.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I think the dynamic is pretty similar here, but the way I view it is I think that the Blues, like you said, have a huge opportunity here. And I think the Blues are going to try to do both. I really do. I talked about having one of 2 options. I think if the Blues are smart, I think that they're going to try to go for that second overall pick. If they get that second overall pick, don't be surprised, Blues fans, if you see more moves, because I think with what you're seeing in the market currently, the Blues could take a 2028 first round pick, package it to a deal, because by that point, the Blues should be good. The Blues should be competitive. They shouldn't need a first round pick.
Yeah, but the only problem is they're so good. They're so good at drafting in that 20 to 24, 25 spot that it's hard for me. I value that pick as good as the Blues are picking there than I do the 14th, 15th, or 16th pick, because I know how good the Blues are drafting there. And
I think they're fantastic.
AC Generator says, my fortune cookie at lunch read, big change ahead. Your lucky numbers are 11, 15, 16, and 29. Dude, I got to see a picture of that. Text me. If you still got it, text me a picture of that. I got to see a picture of that. That's cool.
But like I said, I think the Blues are going to really try to do both. And I get it. The Blues do draft really well. So I understand the hesitancy of wanting to hold on to it. But again, I'm looking at the grand scheme of things. If the Blues can get pieces without giving up any valuable piece that is to their future, and you only have to really give up picks to do it, like I said, I don't think you need to wash those picks clean. I don't think you have to work them to the bone. But I think with what you're seeing in the market, like I said, with some of these trades, I think trading picks that are in years in advance. You look at the Tkachuk one, right? The Florida Panthers gave up a 2029, I think it was, first round pick. 2029. That kid that they're going to draft in 2029 is probably not even going to be ready until 2033.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at you got to look at the big picture. And I think if the Blues can add a defenseman, add another proven guy on the forward side of things, and somehow manage to get Ivar Stenberg, this St. Louis Blues team is going to be good. They're going to be good.
Oh, let's see. So when you first came on, you said this trade made the Blues worse today. Do you still feel
well, it does.
Okay.
It does. But see, the thing is we talked about it, and I agree. Like, I listened to all your points. I agree 100%. I think for the future, it's fantastic. But the Blues haven't done anything after this yet. Like I said, I know something is coming. We all know something is coming. The Blues are not done. Armstrong's a mastermind and a genius. He's not done. So we all know something's coming. But as of right now, when you don't have a move, yes, the Blues are worse.
Yeah, okay. Fair. That's fair. I don't completely agree with it, but I understand where you're at. I do. I really do. Wow, that was a good show, man. Hour and 15 minutes. We had a good guest, Richard Campbell, coming on and talking to us. Nemec went to Calgary. I saw that.
Yeah. Simon Nemec.
I do believe the Blues have too many first-round picks to make all 4 picks without making.
Oh, they're not making it.
And even if they do make them all, somebody is. I'd say at best 3 would play for the Blues. Not all 4 of them would. Maybe even 2, because it's capital. It's trade capital, right? And like you said. You want that big player. Well, to get that big player, you need that trade capital, and that's what the Blues have right now. They have trade capital, they have cap space capital, and they have a very, very, very good minor league prospect capital that allows them to make a move without hurting the team.
Yeah. Well, and I want to point this out because I agree with you. You look at this, right? The St. Louis Blues, well, first of all, I want to preface this first. I said with 120% certainty that Toronto's taking McKenna. I have no doubt in my mind that that's where he's going. That's where he's going to land. I have absolutely 150% likely, 100%, 150% confidence, that the Blues are doing something else. I don't know what that is yet. We don't know, but the Blues are not making 4 first-round picks. Not happening. They are doing something with 1 or 2 or 3 of them. I don't know, but they're doing something because they're not drafting all 4. I want to preface this. If they could
somebody at 15 or 16 that somebody else wanted lower, and they're going, if they got to take all of them, they're going to take somebody at 15 or 16 that somebody wanted at 19 or 20. They're going to make a little reach, and then they're going to turn around and trade that guy for a player or something. They're going to get something from that guy. They're going to use it in a way to open things up.
Yeah, they could do that. Like I said, this is the one thing I will tell you right now. And this is me. This is my thought process and my thought process alone. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to. The only way that this trade is a flop, to me, and obviously it will help the future depending on it, but if the Blues do not make any moves, they stick with what they have, and they just draft all 4 guys, and nothing happens. If that happens, which I don't think that's going to be the case, I think something will happen depending on what it is, we don't know. Yeah. But that would be the only way this trade is a fail to me, is if the Blues just say, okay, I'm not doing anything, I'm just drafting all 4 first rounders and just doing that. Then you're telling me right now, after that, is you're going for a rebuild. That's what you're telling me.
Okay, so the Blues right now, so they have $22 million in cap space, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what they have to sign. They have a UFA in Justin Hull. I don't see him coming back. I really don't.
He probably walks, depending on if you can sign him for maybe like $750K, maybe.
Okay, he was making $3.4 million. He's not signing for that.
Well, he is older. He is an older defenseman.
He's 34, but he's not signing for that. He's signing for close to what he was making. I'm almost sure of it.
Okay,
right?
well, if that's the case, then no, he won't be back.
Yeah. Then you have Oscar Sundquist, 32 at 1.5. Sonny will be working for the St. Louis Blues as a consultant or something like that. He's going to live in St. Louis. We already know that, but his time with St. Louis is over. Now you have 3 RFAs. These are the 3 RFAs and their age and their qualifying offer. Well, at least I think it's their qualifying offer. You have Connor McMichael. He's 25. He's at 2.1 million. You have Berggren. He's 25 at 1.8. Kessel is 26 at 800.
Mhm.
Kessel could walk. Right? Kessel could possibly walk. I don't know. He might fall under a Group 6 UFA. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so. No, he did not. He got enough time, so he doesn't fall under a Group 5 or a Group 6.
And Kessel was one of the guys, and some of these guys, like I said, some of these guys are guys that the Blues could use for packages as well.
Yeah.
You know, that if the Blues are smart, I'm using, obviously these guys aren't, needle moving pieces, but they're depth guys, and teams need depth guys. So the Blues can easily package these guys up, I think.
So you take, let's just, for example, say you take, you get Michael at 3 million, Berggren at 2, that's 5, and you keep Kessel for $1 million. All right. So that's 6 million. So you take the 6 million off and you still have, and I think my math's right, 17 million or 16 million. You still have 16 almost. So you're at 20, you're at 22.9. So you're almost 23 million. So you're going to have close to 17 million in cap space.
Yeah, guy, like I said, for me, buddy, I know you're not in the big market for paying a bunch of, big guys, big money. And I don't think you have to give them a Kaprizov contract, but with that amount of cap flexibility, I think you should probably be in the camp of me. If the Blues don't sign a bigger name piece, I don't know what they're doing, because I think with that cap flexibility, you need to add a piece or two, because that's a lot of cap space where you can get a proven guy.
I don't know if you need to get a $10 million player. I think with 16 million, get 3 $6 million guys and have some cap space.
Elias Pettersson would, if you retain salary, I think he's making about 8 something.
Yeah,
he'd be making about 8 million.
I got to look this up. I don't think you could. I think you can only retain salary for 2 years. But you have to. If you retain salary, it has to be for the life of the contract. So this might be a contract where you're not eligible to retain salary.
I don't know for sure, but I want to point this out too. With this move, though, with the cap flexibility that you have now, a contract like that is not as bad as you think it is.
Yeah,
because you'd be paying him pretty much almost identical to what you were paying Kyrou, maybe just a little more. Yeah. So you're pretty much just replacing Kyrou's contract with another contract. Yes, I know the idea around Pettersson and why people don't want him. I understand it completely, but the guy's 27. He would be a good fit on this team. He needs to change his scenery, just like Kyrou needed. That we talked about on this show plenty of times. He got it, and who knows what he does with it. But again, you have guys like Kirill Marchenko. God, dude, if the Blues, I'm telling you right now, the Blues should definitely be in a market for Kirill Marchenko, because that guy is special, man. That guy's special. I'm telling you, he'd be such a good fit on this team.
I think that the price might be too high.
What does he make? I don't know what he's making right now. I don't think. What is he? He's 25 years old. Right? Yeah, Columbus.
Yeah. He is 3.8.
Yeah, 3.8. So I mean,
he's
obviously,
he's an RFA next year, and then a UFA after that. You're going to do it. You're going to have to do a sign and trade. My when I say the price is too high, I mean what this is a guy that I think they would want a lot for, right? Like,
Well, he's arguably like one of their better players, for sure. But again, like I said, that is the thing about not playing in Sesame Street. First of all, the guy's 25 years old. He fits perfectly in this timeline of what you're building for the St. Louis Blues. His production has gone up each year after each year. A guy like that, obviously, you don't want to have to pay him $10 million. I don't even know if that's what you'd have to pay him, but $3 million, from what he's making now or whatever you said, 3 point something. Like, I feel like you probably are not going to have to go up past 10 million. I don't even think you may have to even touch 10 million.
You could probably get him for 6. You could probably get him for 6.
Oh, if you can get him for 6, if you can get him for 6 or 7 million, now I'm taking it.
He's at 3.8. He's not going to become a $10 million player.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I think the Blues, I think that would be well worth it in there. Like I said, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't even think Columbus will be interested, will possibly ship him. But Frank Sorelli made the report, and we all know that he's a big guy in the space.
I can see even moving Zorinsky, even though he's got a full no movement clause, but he's only got 2 years left on that contract, and it's at 9.5. I mean, you could retain some salary on that. Since it's only 2 years. Excuse me. But Rosensky's 28 as a defenseman. Oh man, that's a tough one.
Yeah, see
I don't know
now,
if I'm paying him, if I can get you to retain $3 million of that and I'm paying 6, I'd be okay with that. But anything else, I don't think I'd be happy with that trade.
So the way I view it, so say, like I said, I was only really focusing on Marchenko because I think Marchenko fits this team perfectly. He's a blue collar guy. He's very skilled, very crafty, sneaky speed. He's Russian. I think he'd be a great player. I think Werenski would be a great player here for the St. Louis Blues as well. But again, I only focused on the one because I think it's more realistic given his cap flexibility. I think the age, obviously, Werenski only being 3 years older. Is okay for a defenseman. I mean, he would be a great defenseman. He'd be an offensive defenseman for this team. But I think Marchenko fits this team better. But if you were to package these two guys up, say you packaged Marchenko and Werenski in a deal, you would be looking at the St. Louis Blues really have to give up a haul for both guys. And you'd have to have Columbus retain some salary like you talked about.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I think there would be 2 great players for this team. But I just don't know I think what you have is perfectly fine to get it done. But does Columbus want to play hardball? I don't know.
Yeah. I completely understand, man. What a show! What a day! Had a lot of fun, man, and good dynamic we got going. Let's keep it going. We'll be here Friday. I think the draft is like 6 St. Louis time, so I think that's 1:00 my time, something like that. So we'll be here for that. I went to go get the draft thing today, but one of my teeth blew out, so I've been dealing with that. I'm surprised I talked for as long as I did with my teeth hurting like it is. But
so,
go ahead.
With what we've seen so far and how big this has been for most teams involved in this offseason, I think that this easily has been one of the biggest off seasons in recent memory.
Yeah.
For the NHL, especially.
I say going back to the last Tkachuk that was traded.
Probably. But even then, I don't know. I think that was probably the one biggest move. Like, this has had a lot of big moves in it, like a lot of big blockbuster trades happening. So
I think the same year that Tkachuk got traded is when the Johnny Hockey left, Gaudreau left Calgary.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it might have been, but I think that this has definitely been probably the biggest one since then, and definitely in recent memory. This one has, and we're only getting started because we still have to sign guys like Larkin. We still have to sign guys like Robertson. I mean, there's so many big fish out in the market, and with the reports of some of these guys being available still, we talked about other guys. There's other guys in the market as well that the St. Louis Blues could target. I know you talked about I think you said that you were okay with possibly getting a guy like Trocheck, depending on what you'd have to give up for him. But you have a guy like Trocheck, who's a great blue-collar guy that would fit perfectly on the Blues. You have guys that are maybe a little bit lesser in name, but I think still great players. So Blues have options, man.
Here's my issue with Jason Robinson. And again, just putting this out there, not saying I don't want him, but it's got to be done the right way. His qualifying offer is $9.3 million.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you trade him, right, you have to give him a deal of a minimum of $9.3 million. So, you've got to have, you got to make sure that and if he wants a 6-year contract at $10 million or $12 million, now I'm stepping back a little bit. I know how great he is. I know he's a 90, point per game player, 96 points, 100-point player. Just got to be worried about it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm with you. See, if I'm booking this perfectly, if I'm the St. Louis Blues, and I say, okay, who would I rather go out and get? I think Robertson's a great player. I think the production speaks for itself. I think he would definitely produce on this team. Yes, the cap or the money that he wants is definitely high up there. But again, that's the new NHL. I'm not surprised on why a guy like that would want that type of money. But if I'm the Blues, I'm doing the one of two things. I'm either going after Marchenko itself and Bo Byram, both of them, or I'm going after a package deal with Marchenko and Werenski. That's what I'm doing. I'm going after a forward and a defenseman if I'm the Blues, and I'm trying to move up to the second overall pick. Trying to do all three of those. Obviously, I don't know if that's going to be possible, but I think that's the best course of action for the St. Louis Blues. They try to get up to the second overall pick. If they can't, then they can't. But
then you
still,
go after the player.
Yeah, then you can go after the player, or like I said, I think realistically with the flexibility that the Blues have now, and with some of the contracts of some of the guys, I think the Blues could pull off all three if they're smart.
Yeah. They could. They got to, if you do it right. Again, and I want to say this before we go. I mean, I know we're at an hour and a half now of a show we thought we'd do a half hour on. My dream scenario, the dream scenario is this. We get that number 2 pick. We trade a couple of picks, maybe a player or whatever. We get up to number 2, and then Toronto fucks everyone and goes and takes Stenberg with 2, and then the Blues have McKenna sitting there or take Stenberg at 1, and the Blues are sitting with McKenna at 2, and we don't need McKenna, but there's so many people that are lusting after him. You take McKenna, and then you start dangling that bastard, and everything that you gave up to get the 2, you will get back in trading McKenna. So you will end up getting more than what you lost to get that spot.
I want to bring this up. Shockman, I get what you're saying, but Thomas is locked up for right now. The cap is only going up, and it's going to be going up. I'm not worried about this right now.
It's far enough down the road. I saw that. That's why I didn't put it up.
Oh, sorry. Well, I just wanted to point it out because Shockman, he's a good guy here. So I'm not worried about that. Thomas will have his money if he needs it. First of all, Thomas, this contract, he's locked up until the 30, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So 30. So by that point, Robert Thomas will be 31, I think, 32, something like that.
Yeah, he's locked up through 30, 31. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. He'll be 31 turning 32.
Yeah, so he'll be so I know what your thought process is, and I think he'll still be a great player, but at that point, 32, the cap's going to be up, so I don't have we won't. This will be into the future, so we don't know what the Blues cap situation will be at that point. But I'm not worried about that at all. So the Blues need, like I said, Guy is 100% right. They have flexibility. They have the bull by the horns, and I think the Blues should do those three things. I think that they should try to move up to the second overall pick, like Guy was saying. I think that they should try to add a defenseman and a forward, and the two guys and the packages that I just talked about is what I think the Blues should try to go after. Those, I think, are the best options for the St. Louis Blues. Either Zach Werenski and Marchenko in a package deal where you'd have to send over probably 2 first, some more things, but picks probably, and maybe some few depth guys make it.
You're getting Werenski. I'm trading. I'm letting Parayko go.
So, well, and that's what I'm saying. So, with that being said, that's why I was saying that if you can do all three things, because if you can offer, say, Parayko will waive it to San Jose, I guarantee you would probably have interest in Colton Parayko. So you take Colton Parayko, you have to lessen the value of what you give San Jose for that second overall pick. You get the second overall pick. You get Stenberg. Parayko's gone. I'll miss him. Love him. But then you go out and you package. You either get Zach Werenski and Marchenko, or you go after Marchenko and you go after Bo Byram. One of the two. I think that's the two best options, I think, for the St. Louis Blues. Unless, like I said, you go after a Pettersson or you go after a Robertson. But again, I'm with Guy. I think it's a valid point to say, hey, why should we pay Robertson $12 million like he wants where we could just go out and get Marchenko for $6 million? I think that's pretty logical point there.
Yep. And again,
but that's just the way I view it.
Yeah, NHL Muse is going, who won this trade, Washington get Kyrou and what we got. I think it's an even up trade. I think this is one that's good for both teams. I think this is a trade that's good for both teams. I know you think that we're weaker now at the moment, and I understand that, but I still think that this was a trade that was good for both teams.
Well, and I like I said, I think it's good. And I even said that earlier. I just for right now, all I'm saying as of right now in this moment when we're talking about it, after the Blues make the moves that I expect them to make, I think they're going to be better off. Like I said, but from my mindset, all I'm saying is hypothetical right now from what you received. You have, you don't have Ivar Stenberg. You don't have Zach Werenski. You don't have these guys right now to replace that production. So as of right now, on paper, you're a worse team. But in the future, you will not be. So I do think it's a good trade. I'm okay with it if that shores up any of your thought process on where I'm at here.
Yeah, no, I like I said, it's not that I don't agree with you. That I don't understand where you're coming from. It's just that sometimes just because we lost the 70 points means that we may be getting we kept asking, how are you going to replace the 70 points? And I think the Blues may be replacing it in the aggregate, right? Bringing in McMichael, bringing in Carbonneau, right? Bringing in Stenberg, bringing in Lindstein. These guys, these newer additions, these 4 additions to the roster are where you're going to get those points and more. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think you're right. I think the future is very bright. But again, this is what I talked about with a guy like Justin Carbonneau. Everybody thinks this kid's going to come in and put 70 points on the board, and we talked about it, and you agreed with me. 40 points, 50 points. I can see it. I think he's a good enough player. I think he's a good enough player to reach a 70 points at in his career at some point. But again, you're talking about the NHL, and you're talking about prospects and young kids. Not everybody comes in and puts up 90 points like Connor McDavid does. And even then, when Connor McDavid first came in the NHL, I don't think he put up 90 points.
Yeah.
It is a learning curve. I love Justin Carpenter. I think he's great. I talked about it a lot. I think he was one of the best Blues in training camp, but I don't think he's going to come in and put up 70 points. So that's why I'm saying I think he deserves to be on this team, and I think he will be on this team now that Kyrou's not here. I think he will probably play, depending on whether or not he plays his rookie year or not. I don't know. But again, I'm still going with the overall picture, and I'm going with Blues get second overall pick, and they get a forward and a defenseman. And I don't mean depth. I don't mean bottom six guys. I mean top end guys. Yeah. A top forward and or top six forward, I should say, and a top pair defenseman. That's exactly what I'm doing if I'm the Blues.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. Like I said, the more I look at this trade and the more I look at the flexibility that's there, the cap space that's there, the draft picks that are there. We have more draft picks than any other team. We have 13 draft picks. We have draft equity, and that equity can really be turned correctly, especially if you have a team that is very good in the third and fourth and fifth rounds. There are a lot of teams out there that they know that in the first round they're going to be in the bottom, so they hone themselves in the middle rounds, third, fourth, fifth round. We have 7 picks in rounds 3 through 5. 7 picks. That's equity that you can really, really work with. Especially if you know teams that are good in that area, you can get a player. You can get a really good player for those picks. Right?
Yeah. Like I said, I think in the grand scheme of things, overall, it's going to be okay for the future. I'm okay with this trade. Like I said, I think I'm with you. You know, both teams, I think this is a fine trade for both teams. I think it's good for both teams. You know, they get a 70-point guy in Kyrou. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a great individual career from now on. I think the looming St. Louis media, the looming fans who bitch and complain constantly, they got what they wanted. But all I'm saying now, Blues fans who bitch and moan and cry about Kyrou, I don't want to hear any more bitching. I don't want to hear any more crying, because I'm going to tell you that I'm not coddling you anymore. So you got what you wanted. So don't be bitching and crying if the Blues are struggling to find that scoring. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, I'm with you. I understand that, and I agree. All right. Well, guys, what a show! Hour and 42 minutes, and really, I thought we'd do a half hour on this. I did not think that we would go this in depth, but hey, it was a great conversation. We talked about a lot of stuff. We understood. There was some really good back and forth, and we had Richard Campbell join us for a little bit. Thank you. We had Chris Shockey join us yesterday. We're going to start opening up to our fans, the people that we know, a little more about coming on the show with us. Again, this is people we know. This is people that we trust. I'm not just letting any Tom, Dick, or Harry come on the show. And we are working on a few possible interviews. We got some kindling in the fire, and we're going to see if it brings some smoke. All right. With that being said, I guess, Justin, it's time. You know, how do we end the show?
I think we got to ask, where are the girls?
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
What are you wearing?
A Canadian tuxedo. And I'm a hockey player. Let's go Blues.
So I got to know, Blues fans, are you ready for the question? Blue Note Fan Report faithful, are you ready for the question? Last but not least, Justin Eagle Eye Scott, are you ready for the question?
I'm ready for the question.
I gotta know, who is late for dinner?
Where are the boys? Where are they at?
Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, for my co-host, Justin Eagle Eye Scott. A big special thank you to our guest, Richard Campbell, joining us to talk about the trade, to Chris Shockey, who joined us yesterday, and to all of you who watch us. Give us a thumbs up and tell people that we're your podcast, your vodcast. We love you to death. This is Guy saying, you got to know that I am bleeding blue with you.
And any move or not, I will always love the St. Louis Blues, and as always, let's go Blues.
This is Guy and Justin saying aloha mahalo, and we'll see you next time on the Blue Note Fan Report. Should be draft day, but who knows what Armstrong and Steen are up to.